Hello and welcome to the two-man power trip over wrestling and the latest podcast. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me, of course, here, the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, maybe hard to believe, but also the former head writer of the WWF and WCW, Mr. Vince Russo. Vince, welcome back. How you doing today, sir?
All right, what is going on, my friend John?
Man, you are the center of controversy lately. Before we get into some of the show stuff, the consulting for the USA Network. I know the last time we talked, you were kind of not going around it, but you basically said you were consulting for somebody. You didn't say who, but then it came out, I guess, for whatever reason, it came out it was USA. Were you the one that kind of put that out there that you were working for USA, or somebody else mentioned that?
Nobody else knew, bro. The only people that knew were me, Ben, and Stevie because they were helping me with it. So I was the one who put that out there.
So what was the capacity? You were just consulting for someone at USA. Are you allowed to say who?
Yeah, hold on, John, because what I want to do, bro, is listen, man, I don't want this. I don't want this going out anywhere. But as we speak, bro, I am going to send you something, and I don't want you to do anything with this, John.
Okay. All right.
This is between you and me.
Okay.
I am going to be forwarding you something right now that I want you to look at while we do this show. And this will be confirmation because apparently I'm making all this up for whatever reason. I have no idea, but I am going to I'm going to send this to you right now, bro. I got to hold on. I want to get your I don't think you want to give your email address out. So let me just pull up your email address. And you can look at this while we are live on the air.
Okay.
And I've not sent this to anybody, bro, but I'm sending it to you because hopefully you will look at this while we discuss this, and you will see this is confirmation. This is how I got paid by NBC Universal. Hold on, John. Okay, I just sent it to you, John, but please, 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 I don't want you to share this with anybody because, there's an individual's name, there's her phone numbers and all that stuff. I don't want that going out to anybody, but I am sending this to you because I trust you and you can look at it. And by reading this email, you can clearly confirm that there was a deal in place with myself and USA Network.
Gotcha. Nothing came through as of yet. I'm just waiting for that. But while I'm waiting for that to come in, so how did it come about though? Like, did
John,
they
I'll
contact?
tell you how it came about. The crack wrestling media. Okay, I'll tell you exactly how it came about, John. John, when WCW closed shop all the way back in 2000, whenever it was, okay, USA Network hired Ed Ferrara as a consultant to watch Raw and write reports on Raw every single week, pitch ideas. And he was working with Bonnie Hammer and the USA Network. Vince McMahon, the WWE, never knew about this. Okay? I knew about this because I'm Ed's buddy, and Ed told me. So fast forward, bro, to 2020, and the show is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I can't even watch the show. So I come up with the idea of, you know what? The USA Network needs a consultant again. They need somebody to smarten them up, let them know what is wrong with this show, why nobody's watching this show, pitch them ideas. And I basically said, I am going to contact USA Network. So I got in charge with the president of the USA Network that directly oversaw, and I say saw because he's no longer there. So anybody can do the research and figure out who he is, who oversaw the WWE product. He got back in touch with me immediately, knew who I was, knew my contributions, knew the history, was involved when Ed was consulting for them. So immediately was interested in me, having my hand in at least reviewing Raw, smartening them up, loading them with Bear when they had to have conversations with Vince and Bruce and Kevin Dunn. So it looked like they knew what they were talking about. But what he said to me was, but Vince, here's what I want to do first. I'm going to call Vince McMahon and I'm going to tell Vince McMahon you and I spoke. And I am going to recommend very highly to Vince McMahon that he have a conversation with you. Because what USA really wanted was they wanted me to be working directly with the WWE and Vince. So I said, okay, no problem. I said, I don't think he's going to be happy about this, but no problem, bro. Do whatever you do. So sure enough, this individual who no longer works at USA Network, but is still heavily involved in television with a different company. He contacted Vince, and he said to Vince, I had a conversation with Vince Russo. I highly recommend you speak with him, bro. Obviously, totally caught Vince off guard. I mean, Vince Russo talking to the freaking USA Network, So
Yep.
Vince gave him the old, okay, let me think about it. Of course, Vince never had any intention of calling me. So at that point, the president of the USA Network calls me back and says, Vince, if Vince McMahon isn't going to use you, we will use you. And did you get the email?
Nothing yet. No.
Oh man, why didn't you get that email, John? Hold on, let me
Make sure you send
just
it to the right person. Damn.
yeah,
Hopefully,
hold on, let me just I'm looking at sent. John Paz. Are you still at the AOL gimmick?
no Gmail.
Ah, that's where it is. Okay, hold on, John. Hold on. Let me see okay, hold on. That's the problem, John. Yeah, okay. Let me copy and paste this. Yeah, because it'll be so much better if you can look at this. Okay, hold on, John. I send it to AOL. So let me send this to you now.
So Vince McMahon never got a hold of you outside of those emails back and forth.
No, that was way after.
Okay.
No, John, that was way after. This is, bro, when you get the email that I just sent you, you'll see it's dated I think it's January 20th, 2020. So this is before that time. So this is probably early on in January that he never called me. That's when USA said, Vince, if Vince ain't going to use you, we're going to use you. And that's where we set up the consulting deal, which I just sent you, which obviously you could see, in order to get me into their system, they needed certain information from me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Did you receive it?
Still not. Nope. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's on my end or not, but I still didn't get it.
Okay. All right, go ahead. It'll come through. I forwarded you the old one that I sent to the USA Network. It's your name at Gmail, right, bro?
Yep.
I don't know why you're not getting it. Hold on, Joe. Let me try sending it again. Hold on. I gotta pull it up again. Because I do want you to see this while we talk.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I mean, you can by looking at this, bro, you will be able to confirm this because of course, Cornette and yeah, Vince is making this up like for whatever reason. Like I have no idea. It's so freaking stupid, bro, that people actually want to convince themselves that I'm making all of this up. It's a freaking joke, bro.
But devil's advocate, what if they're saying you're making this up? You're trying to stay relevant. What do you say to that?
John, I'm sending you the email right here. So that's what I'm saying about it. I'm sending
Right.
you the email right here. So, John, let me ask you a question. Can I honestly ask you a question?
Yeah.
John, how much do I hate doing this show?
You do not enjoy talking about old wrestling for some
Yeah.
reason. You
How
don't like
no,
going back.
not only old wrestling, how much do I absolutely hate wrestling?
Yeah.
How much do I not want to be doing wrestling? How much do I already have a plan in place, bro, where come my 65th birthday at the latest, hopefully earlier, I am not going to be talking about anything wrestling related anymore. With all that hate and disdain I have towards the wrestling business, why in God's name, bro, is it so important to me to stay relevant in wrestling? Do you know how freaking ridiculous? I hate wrestling. I make it clear that I hate wrestling. I hate dealing with people in wrestling. I hate the industry. I have no interest in ever working in wrestling again. I say that 10 times a week. So why in God's name would I want to stay relevant in wrestling? No, bro. This was basically the show sucked. USA needed somebody in their corner. The opportunity to work with a network, I welcome. I welcome that with open arms. I love TV. I worked with USA in the past. I worked with Spike in the past. I worked with Turner in the past. Wide open to working with a network. Working with a network is not working with a wrestling company. It's completely different. So that's why I contacted them and went down that road.
All right. So I see here it says new hire details. I did get the email now,
Okay.
and it's
Don't mention any names or
no,
because
no, no,
I don't
and I
want
won't.
these lunatics calling this person.
Right, right. But I see NBC. Obviously, there's another company as well. I'm not going to mention who they are because that's like the HR side of it. And I see
Yeah.
she's from NBC. I mean, I see it,
Yes.
but it says new hire details, and it goes over everything and everything you need to do and put into the system to get paid. So
What's the first thing that it says before it gets in? They need all this information from me to put in this system. What does it say, John? What's the first thing it says?
So this is from January 22nd, 2020 at 3 o'clock. It says, this is regarding your upcoming assignment with NBC Universal.
Okay. So John, does that look like that's something I could have made up?
Not a chance. No.
Or
And especially with,
yeah, I could have written that myself through, I don't know, one of these software programs I don't even know how to use to forward to you so I can make you believe it's legit.
right. And all this other stuff that she put on there. I mean, there's no way that's all corporate new hire stuff. And it's interesting. So you technically were working for NBC Universal, technically speaking.
Yeah, oh yeah. NBC Universal is the mother company of the USA Network, and like
Okay.
you
So they
said,
don't
bro,
spread it off to USA. You're
no,
working for
that's it.
NBC.
That's how I was getting paid. I was getting paid under the NBC Universal umbrella. That's the third party, like you said, whether it's called human resources, whatever it is,
Right.
but
Yep.
that's who handles, putting you in the system. The check came from them. Every week, bro, I got paid. I got paid like clockwork every Friday, bro. That money would appear in my account for 2 years. But I've not sent that to anybody, John. I sent it to you because I trust you. But clearly, you can see this is documentation that there is an assignment with NBC Universal dated January 22nd or the 20th.
22nd,
22nd.
2020. Yeah. And it's
Yes.
funny, I got it twice. So you did send it before and it for
Yeah.
some reason didn't go through. But yeah, I
Yeah.
got it twice.
Yeah.
So that is interesting though,
Yeah.
because some people out there were saying that maybe you're making up to stay relevant. Obviously, this would kind of prove that to be wrong. But you were consulting for them, but you hate wrestling.
Yeah.
Why though? Like like why the need to do that if you hate the business?
John, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, this is another lie. John, they were paying me six figures to do this.
Oh my God.
So,
Okay.
John, you got listen, John. I'm watching a 3-hour show on Monday night, and then I'm writing a report Tuesday morning, and then they call me whenever they want to talk to me. Six figures, John. And like I said, John, I have no. Again, you just said something very important. You hate wrestling. I'm working with the network. I'm not working with the WWE. I'm working with a television network. So we're talking television. I am telling them about, the formatting of the show is all wrong. The way they go in and out of commercials, there's no cliffhangers. We're really talking about television. And I would do this again tomorrow. As much as I say to you, I can't stand wrestling. I don't want to be employed by a wrestling company. Bro, if Turner contacted me tomorrow with this same deal, I would absolutely, without a doubt, do it in a heartbeat. I'm working with a network, bro. We're talking about television. We're talking about ratings. We're talking about, what draws people. That's why they were interested in working with me. Vince, how in God's name did the Attitude Era draw this amount of people? So, bro, like I said, I would work with any network because it's a totally different animal, bro. There's no politics involved. I don't have to go through 100 layers. I am talking to one person. And in this case, it was the president of the USA Network that has moved on, still working in television, and anybody can do the research and find out who it is. I'm not going to mention his name, bro, because I don't need these marks, calling and hounding this guy. You've got the documentation right in front of you. It is crystal clear.
So that is pretty interesting that you're consulting for them. What kind of reports though? Like you literally have to say, I know you're saying cliffhanger, do this, that. So you literally have to watch the show and go over the entire show to them?
Not really, bro. Not really. Kind of, that's not what they really wanted, because at that point, John, the show is already done. So it's like it's being, like a Tuesday morning quarterback. They wanted me to really, really point out okay, Vince, and keep in mind, bro, I did this first thing Tuesday morning before numbers or anything came out. First thing Tuesday morning, just generally, what was your assessment of the show? And then basically, what would you have done differently? Then they would have me, pitch what to do with certain characters, what to do with certain, storylines, send in new storylines. So it was really, bro, they weren't so interested in the critique of the show because the show's already in the can. This was more of a think tank of, what would you have done going forward? What would you do with so-and-so? What storylines would you create? It was that kind of a thing, bro. It was more of a think tank.
So what do they do with that information?
Well, see, bro, that's the funny part, John, because here's what happened. And again, John, if I'm making this stuff up to you, what a wild imagination I have, okay?
Right.
This guy that originally signed me up, bro, he'd been dealing with the WWE for years. Hundreds of meetings with Vince, Bruce, Kevin. So he would take my material and he would suggest some of the stuff to them without them having any knowledge it was coming from Vince Russo. And, so he was really pitching, bro, not that they were doing any of it, because they won't. Their attitude is, what the hell does the USA Network know about wrestling? Yeah, guys, we'll listen to you. We're open for suggestion. At the end of the day, bro, they ain't going to use any of the USA Network shit. They're not going to. So, but John, here's what happened. The guy left. So they really didn't replace him. They kind of put somebody in his position that was still the middleman between USA and the WWE and Raw, but he was not a president of the company or a vice president of the company. His role was nowhere as prominent as the first guy. So the first guy recommended to the new guy, I suggest strongly you continue to use Vince. So he did. We went about business with a new guy. The problem was, bro, this guy was dealing with the WWE, the Vince McMahons, the Bruce Pritchards, the Kevin Dunns for the first time. There was no history. Like, he had no idea what it was going to be like. And quite frankly, John, this dude was so intimidated by Vince and Bruce and the company and Kevin that I sincerely doubt he was sharing any of our stuff with the USA Network. This guy was scared to death of Vince McMahon. So at that point, John, I'll be honest with you, when I kind of saw it was a different relationship from the first person, because with the first person, he was really getting in there. Why don't you guys do this? Why don't you guys try that? Why don't you guys do this? And questioning a lot of things. Why did you guys do that? What? Whereas this new guy, I don't even think he definitely wasn't having weekly conversations with them, but none of our stuff was being presented anymore. So, John, it really got to the point of, bro, this is a waste of time. Like, you guys are paying me a hell of a lot of money, but if you're not going to do anything with this material, like, what's the point? Like,
Right.
Me, Ben, and Stevie, we're sitting there every two, bro. These pages, these reports, John, I would say were an average of maybe 7 to 10 pages, like every single week. So I was like, bro, if you guys are not going to use this, and you're going to be even afraid to suggest anything, then what's the point of doing this? And that's why, bro, basically, about 2 years later, right before WrestleMania 22, that's when we stopped the consulting deal.
They stopped it or you stopped it?
We kind of both did, bro, because we kind of both realized it was useless. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, bro. So I would say I'll be honest, John, they didn't want to renew it because they weren't utilizing the information. And John, I really didn't want to do it anymore. So I was totally cool and totally fine with it. Everything was cool. I mean, I was a consultant. So I was paid for a year. Then I was paid for another year. Then we decided going forward, he wasn't going to use the consultant services anymore. And I said, okay, fine, no problem. And as a matter of fact, bro, like, we still kind of kept in touch and contact here and there. I just wasn't sending in a report every week.
So basically, WB doesn't know. Like, I don't think they knew about Ed Ferrara either, right? When he was consulting.
Nope.
So when a guy, Andrew Zaharian, who by the way is a really nice guy, I don't know him personally, but I've seen some of the stuff he covers. He doesn't do a lot of that dirt sheet stuff. He does, like, WB is going to be WrestleMania, which he's usually pretty damn accurate. WrestleMania 39 is in LA. WrestleMania 40 is in Philly. Like, he gets good information. He's not like a dirt guy, like, hey, Kenny Omega got bit by a dog. Or, he doesn't do that kind of stuff. So when he said he contacted his contacts USA, nobody heard of it. That would make sense because,
bro,
or maybe,
I was dealing with the president of the company. I don't even know. I have no idea on their side. I have no idea who knew outside of him.
so the writing staff wouldn't know. Like, WWE, as far as like his sources in the writing staff, they wouldn't know either.
What do you mean?
WWE's writers.
Oh,
Like,
no, but I'm talking about USA.
oh, okay.
I'm dealing directly with the president, bro, of the network. I have no idea who he's sharing this information with, if anybody. But you got to understand, John, this guy was the president. So if he was sharing this information with people, it was people at that level. I don't know who this guy's talking to at the USA Network, but it was the president of the USA Network that we were dealing directly with. And my problem with this dude was, and I didn't even realize this, bro, we both follow each other on freaking Twitter. DM me and ask me. DM me, but why would you go to people you know at USA Network, but not go to the person who's making the claim? That's what freaking pissed me off. We follow each other, bro. All you had to do was freaking DM me. I don't know who this guy knows at USA Network. I was dealing with the top guy, bro, who the funny thing is, John, he's gone on, he's still working in television, and the production company that he's working with still does business with the WWE. So that's why I really don't want to say who it is, because they still are working on other projects with the WWE. So that's why, like, I'm not going to drop names. I'm not really going to talk about like specifics of what we pitched and stuff like that, because it's like the lawyer client privilege. They were paying me for that information. They own that information. So I can't talk about the specifics, but here's what I can talk about, because people who just brush off ratings and they don't mean anything anymore, bro, he was not happy with the money they were paying the WWE and the numbers they were doing. They were not happy. That's why he brought me on to consult.
They were number one on the channel, though. So, I mean, he can't be happy with the entire channel then.
No, I guess what he was looking at, bro, was past history. What they used to do and what USA used to pay them and what they're doing now and what USA is paying them. I guess that's what they were really
Which is
looking
considerably
at.
more.
Absolutely more, and they're getting less bang for their buck.
So why now did you come out and say this? You know what I mean? Like, why did this come?
Because Vince retired. Vince is gone. So what difference does it make if Vince finds out? The guy who was the president is gone. Vince McMahon was gone. So there's not going to be heat on anybody. Vince, who's Vince going to get mad at? The guy I made the deal with is no longer with the company. Vince McMahon no longer has anything to do with the company. And John, that's what led to me contacting Vince McMahon. When we started dealing with this second person, and it was a total waste of everybody's time, that's when I said, my God, bro, I got to sit here and I got to watch this show for 3 hours every single week. I can't stand it. You know what, bro? I'm going to reach out to Vince directly. And that's when I reached out to Vince directly. I think that was, bro, in October of 2001. And I let USA Network know that too. I let them know. I said, bro, I'm going to reach out to Vince directly. Like, this isn't working. I'm going to reach out to him directly and see if he's interested in talking. And it really was, John, honestly, and this is hard for people to believe. I hated sitting there for 3 hours and watching this show. John, now that I'm not consulting anymore, this is the God honest truth. Bro, Raw in Colorado is on from 6 to 9. Okay, that's when it's on, 6 to 9. Now that I'm not consulting for USA anymore, at 8:15. So, bro, we are 2 hours and 15 minutes into the show. At 8:15, I go on Twitch Live and I do a watch along. And I'm fast forwarding through the whole thing. So by the time the show is done at 9 o'clock, I've watched all 3 hours. So it's a lot more easier for me because now, like I said, I'm sitting here for 45 minutes. When I was working with USA, bro, I was watching every minute of the show because, like I said, they were paying me really, really well. I wasn't going to watch this thing in fast forward mode. I really wanted to give them specific details. So that's what made it so much easier for me. Once I was done consulting with them, bro, I literally watched the show now in 45 minutes.
Again, devil's advocate, there are people are going to say, you wanted to work for Fox, you want to work for USA, you want to work for WWE, you're like dying to get back in. That's what they'll say.
I don't. Who said I'm dying to work for WWE? When I contacted Vince, I offered my consulting services. I offered the same services that I offered the USA Network, and I clearly said, "Shoot, John, I should send you that email too." I clearly said to Vince, "I am not looking for a full-time job. I have a full-time job. I'm not going on the road. I'm not going to TV. I'm not moving to Connecticut." I simply offered him my consulting services. Bro, I would offer my consulting services to Tony Khan right now. The difference is, John, when I'm consulting, I'm working for myself. I'm not working for them, bro. They're hiring my service as a consultant. They're not my boss. So you're paying me to consult. We come to an agreement. I am gonna fulfill that agreement. I'm gonna give you what we agreed to. You're not my boss. You're not gonna yell at me on the phone. You're not gonna demand I come here or I go there. I work for myself. That's why I've made it clear, bro. I will consult for any television network. I will consult for any wrestling company. As a consultant, I'm working for me and not them. And I've made that clear 1,000,000 times. Bro, anybody can contact EC3 tomorrow. And I have a close relationship with EC3. He does a show on he does a show on channelattitude.com, and he's running Control Your Narrative. You can ask EC3. I tell EC3, I emailed Billy Corgan the other day, and I said, guys, if I can ever help you with anything, you want to pick my brain, you want to bounce something off, I am here for you. But I told those two guys, bro, that's out of friendship. Like, I'm friends with those guys. I'm friends with Billy. I'm friends with EC3. So basically what I'm saying is, guys, I will consult for free. Like, if you ever need anything from me, you want to run an idea past me, maybe there's a character we don't know what to do with, please feel free to call me. But yeah, bro, there is a huge amount of difference between consulting, where I'm in charge, and working in that industry. I will never, I don't know how many times I have to say it, I will never work in that industry again. Bro, I would consult for Triple H. Absolutely no doubt about it. I would offer the same services to Triple H that I offered to the USA Network. Absolutely no doubt about it.
All right, let's change gears. Let's change topics. Let's talk about Final Four 1997, technically in your house, number 13, February 16th, 1997, Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the UTC Arena. The attendance 6,399. The pay-per-view buys 120K. Now, Bret Hart we thought, won the Royal Rumble, but obviously Austin cheated and Austin wins the Royal Rumble. Now, I guess we talked about it a little bit last time we talked about Royal Rumble 97. Why didn't Brett just win? Is that too predictable? And I know you weren't technically the head writer, right? But you threw in an idea saying maybe that was too predictable for Bret Hart to win the Royal Rumble.
Was the oh, okay. All right. So the Royal Rumble was before this.
Yes.
Yes, bro. That was that was the infamous where I was not in the inner circle. So
Right.
I did not know what was happening. And that was basically live wire. When I was playing the role of Vic Venom, and they said Royal Rumble predictions live on the air, and they came to Vic Venom, and I said, well, everybody knows Bret Hart's going to win. It's crystal clear. Vince was irate after that show, and he goes, Vince, how can you give that? How could you put that out there? And I looked at him and I said, Vince, I don't know who's going to win the Royal Rumble. Nobody told me who's going to win the Royal Rumble, but it's as predictable as the sun coming up in the morning. And that's when they changed the finish to the Royal Rumble, because that's what I had said to Vince. Nobody told me what the finish was. It was so freaking predictable. It wasn't even funny. And that's when he changed the finish of the Royal Rumble.
Interesting. Okay, that's what I kind of thought was
Yeah.
the idea was too predictable.
Yeah.
So he was mad at you though for
Oh,
saying that. Yeah.
absolutely, bro. Because he thought like somebody told me, and I was smartening everybody else up. And I said, nobody told me anything, Vince. I'm looking at this show like everybody else, and it's 1,000% predictable that Bret Hart's winning the Royal Rumble. And even when they made that change, bro, nobody told me they were making that change. I watched it like everybody else on TV.
So what happens is obviously Michaels beats Sid in the main event. He's world champion, but Austin technically won the Royal Rumble, even though he cheated. So I guess the thought is Brett versus Shawn again, WrestleMania 13 main event. Is that what it was supposed to be leading to?
See, again, bro, I can't say because I wasn't, I wasn't involved in the inner circle at that time. So I don't know what they were discussing at that level, bro. I really don't.
Do you think there was any thought into putting Steve Austin in the main event of WrestleMania 13?
Knowing how they think, and especially how Vince thinks, I would assume, bro, that Vince would think Austin wasn't ready, because you gotta understand something with Vince, bro. He didn't know the backgrounds of these guys. He didn't know Austin was stunning Steve Austin at WCW. He didn't know that body of work. He didn't know, Austin was just coming from ECW. He really didn't know the body of work. And not only did he not know the body of work, but regardless of where they ever came from, when they came to the WWE, it was a totally different world. So I would not be the least bit surprised if Vince McMahon didn't feel that at that time he wasn't ready for the spot.
To me, that's just so funny that Vince is like so clueless because if you see Steve Austin for years, you can see like this guy's a great talker, this guy's a great worker, this guy's got he's got something. This guy's I loved him in WCW, but then he puts him with DiBiase when he first come in. He's like, oh, this guy can't talk. It's
I
like,
I
did
told
you
I
not
told
see?
I told you that, bro. When every time there was a new talent coming to TV, and I had to kind of work on the characters. That's what I did before I started writing the show. I started working on individual characters and their verbiage and their dialogue. So every time there would be a new character, I would have to go sit in Vince's office and we would go through the characters. And that's exactly what he said about Steve Austin. Steve Austin's the ringmaster. I don't want him ever saying a word. Ted DiBiase needs to be all talking. And I said, Vince, Austin can cut a promo. Have you not seen, And he says, I don't care. I don't want him saying a word. Bro, he had no idea. I don't think he ever saw stunning Steve Austin one time, bro.
Not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just not his forte. It's like Jim Ross has that great story about Mick Foley, Mankind, and
Mm-hmm.
Ross is like, this guy's great. Trust me, Cactus Jack. Trust me, I know him. And he's like, Vince says to him, "You're going to be pretty upset when he ends up getting fired pretty soon." Like
Yeah.
as if like he had no confidence in
Yep.
Jr. and no confidence in Foley, and then he saw him feud with the Undertaker, and obviously the rest is history.
Which is so weird, bro, because listen, man, I know Vince was tied up in the WWE like 24/7, bro. Never watched DCW, never knew what was going on in the outside wrestling world. And it's like, bro, when I look at owners of teams and general managers of teams, part of their job is knowing the league and knowing the other teams and knowing all the players and knowing who to scout. I mean, like that is part of the job. I'm sure the Giants front office knows everything about every player on the Padres roster and the Dodgers. I'm sure they study this stuff. He knew nothing about wrestling outside of his own company.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, of course, as the inner circle has come out and said, the rumor or what they wanted to be the main event, not really rumor, what they wanted was Brett versus Shawn again, rematch of last year's WrestleMania, except this time Brett was going over. So they were kind of going away from Michaels and almost seemed like going back to Brett. So, of course, Michaels infamously gets the quote unquote knee injury, loses his smile. He says that he's going to have to retire because of the knee injury. But as we know, he did a flip off the rope. He's literally shaking the knee, like telling Brett and telling Vince, telling everybody, "I'm not really hurt. I lied. I just didn't want to drop the
And
title."
bro, he did the same thing, man. I'll never forget it, man. He did the same thing in the WrestleMania match with Austin when he went in with the back injury. And then, bro, in the middle of that match, he did that kip up. And that's when I said, you got to be. Now, I know all about adrenaline and everything else, bro. It's a WrestleMania, it's a big event. But, bro, if your back is effed, you ain't doing no kip up, bro. So he kind of did the same exact thing during that match.
And there's a match when he has his Shawn Michaels wrestling school, his wrestling academy, which guys like Brian Danielson and Lance Cade and Paul London. I mean, it was with Rudy Boy Gonzalez, a really good school. He had a match against Venom, who was really Paul Diamond. I mean, you could say maybe the injured back, he was more of a brawl. This is in the year 2000. He's going like there's no injury. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're doing this crazy match, and it's just like I don't know about that. Then all of a sudden, 2002, he comes back and he's fully healed and everything else. So it's like I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's why, bro. I always give him the benefit of the doubt because, I mean, like I said, man, WrestleMania, there's got to be such an adrenaline rush. I've never experienced anything like that. So, like, I always give him the benefit of the doubt, but that really stuck out to me.
To me, though, he's so good that there's like a 50-50 chance. You know what I mean? He's such a good wrestler, but he's such a good seller. So it's like, is he injured? Is he not? You never know with him.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So he loses his smile. What's the thought from Vince? Is Vince pissed like at this? Is he or
Oh
does he
yeah,
just?
bro. No, in the office, bro. Like, bro. I think there were a lot of times where like Vince was mad and Vince was upset. But bro, the guy that was always there getting him to that next level was Bruce. Like that's what Bruce did. Because bro, I'll never forget the curtain call at Madison Square Garden. Bro, it didn't bother Vince. It didn't affect Vince, but that I think that was a Saturday or Sunday night, bro. Do you remember the day? Was it Sunday night?
I don't remember the day. I know it was May 19th, 1996. It might have been a Sunday. I'm not sure.
Well, my point is, bro, that Monday I met creatively with Bruce Pritchard and Jim Cornette.
Yeah, it was a Sunday.
A
I
Sunday.
just checked.
I
Yeah.
met with them the next day. Cornette and Bruce wanted those guys fired. Fired. Cornette, bro. They just exposed the business. They just killed the business. Nobody's gonna ever come to another wrestling event again. You know all that bullshit. Those guys were irate. And it was always those guys, bro, that kind of always worked Vince up. So I'm bro, Vince's whole because he told me this, bro, because he told me his father taught him this. If Vince feels that Shawn's getting one over on him, okay, Vince said to me, he goes, Vince, my father told me this a long time ago. When somebody screws you over and you're going to terminate them or get rid of them, you're going to do it on your time. You're good. So, in other words, what he's saying is, okay, bro, you got me. I'm going to let you get over on me thinking you won because you're still making me money. But at the appropriate time, I'm not going to forget, and you're going to be gone on my terms, not yours. That's how Vince would always handle it. Vince knows Shawn's not going to get over on him, but if it was a situation where Shawn was still making money, Shawn was still on top, he needed Shawn to get somebody else over. He would continue to go with them, making Shawn think he got over on him. And then at the appropriate time, on his time, Vince would drop the hammer. But it was always, bro, those wrestling guys in the bubble that have been there forever. It was always them that used to work up Vince.
This is like complete sidebar, but May 19th, 96, that MSG show drew almost 19,000, was a sellout. And it's funny, the Click takes credit for that and saying that the curtain call was, it was at that time to us fans, it meant nothing because we had no idea what was going on. Obviously, months later, I mean, we'd find out and it'd become bigger. But I even remember the advertising because we used to get the newspapers. The whole thing was Ultimate Warriors return to MSG. Michaels was not advertised at all.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Warrior versus Owen Hart was, I know it's like the intermission main event, but that was the match everybody wanted to see because Warriors
Yeah.
return. But all of a sudden the Click made it about them, and oh, it's so
Yeah.
important. Nobody cared about them at that point. It was
Yeah.
Warriors return to MSG. So I just throw that in there because fans always seem to forget that. But I remember vividly, like he was the only focus of the promotion for the show.
Yeah.
So you can't give anybody else credit but him.
That's interesting. That's real
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
So let's go to Final Four. The main event will be Bret Hart versus Steve Austin versus Vader versus Undertaker, now in an elimination match for the vacant WWF World Heavyweight Championship. You can throw a guy like the Royal Rumble over the top rope and out, so you don't necessarily have to have pinfalls. But the funny thing is here, and I know we talked about this last time, technically speaking, if you want to talk about the Final Four, Fake Diesel would be in it. But obviously he wasn't a part of the plan because Bret had to dump Diesel over after Austin dumped over Undertaker and Vader when they weren't paying attention,
Yeah.
then dump over Austin. I mean, then dump over Bret and then win. So
Yeah.
it makes sense, but obviously Fake Diesel's not going to be a part of
Yeah,
the
that was such a horrible idea. I really think, bro, that was rock bottom. Like that was so awful. So
you didn't
awful.
like the Fake Diesel, Fake
Oh
Bret.
my god, no, because somebody convinced Vince, and I really think it was Bruce. Somebody convinced Vince. We own the characters. You know, we own Diesel, we own Razor Ramon. Anybody can play them. So somebody convinced Vince of that, and oh my god, that was awful, bro. Awful.
I guess they didn't learn from the Huckster and the Nacho Man that faking
Oh,
guys and pretending you're
I
somebody else
hated
doesn't
that
work.
stuff. I hated that stuff, bro. That was such a cry for desperation, man.
It's almost like the fans see it, they're like, okay, that's horrible. It's not even funny. Oh, Hulk and Macho still wrestle? Oh, let me turn on WCW, you know?
Yeah, right, right. Yep, yep.
So the dark match was the Godwins, Henry and Phineas Godwin, defeating the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, in about 11 minutes, 30 seconds. Obviously, just the dark match means nothing. But the first match, I don't know, to me, this is why WCW was kind of killing them at this point. Just as a fan thinking. So the first match is Mark Merrow with Sable defeating Leaf Cassidy in about 9 minutes, 30 seconds. I don't know, it's like Merrow at that point with Sable, he's like kind of doing the wild man thing, but like Leaf Cassidy, I don't know, just there's no oomph. They got the NWO, they got the
Yeah, no,
cruiserweights, they got
this, yeah. I mean, bro, and again, I was not in creative with the wild man Mark Merrow because, quite frankly, bro, I didn't know what that meant. Later on, when Merrow became like did the Golden Gloves gimmick and he was pulling his shorts up and
yeah.
being the boxer, that I was involved in. But even when I was told about the wild man, like what does that mean? Like that was just never ever over.
To me, I could see Vince sitting him down and going, "You look like Tarzan. You're like the wild man." Like saying weird
Absolutely.
stuff
Absolutely, bro. I agree. Yep.
and bringing Sable along. Obviously, somebody saw her with Merrow and like this girl's gorgeous. Like
Yeah,
let's get her on TV.
he brought her to, the first time he went to Titan to sign his contract. And Vince saw her and immediately like the light bulb went off in his head.
Not a trained wrestler, right? She was not trained at
No,
all.
no, not at all. Not at all. No.
So the next match is the Nation of Domination: Crush, Farouk, and Savio Vega with JC Ice, Wolfie D, D'Lo Brown, and Clarence Mason, the whole crew, defeating Bart Gunn, Flash Funk, and Goldust with Marlena, six-man tag. Match goes about 7 minutes.
I see. I'm definitely not writing this shit, bro. Like I am not writing this stuff, bro.
I love PG-13,
Yeah,
but Crush, Farouk, and Savio together in Nation is just like, how does that even make sense? It's almost like we have nothing going on with any of these guys. Let's just put them
yep.
together and make them
That's
into a
it.
group.
That's exactly what it was. That's it.
So you have a Nation of Domination. They're doing the fist with a white guy,
I know.
a Spanish guy, and a black guy. Like
Yeah. Well, and Vince Russo had nothing to do with the Attitude Era. Like, like this was all the stuff they were doing prior to the Attitude Era. But it was all Vince McMahon. So Vince McMahon was doing all this horrible shit, and then all of a sudden he created the Attitude Era. Come on, bro. This stuff was horrible, man.
To me, like the talent is there. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ron Simmons is great, Crush is great. I mean, you got but like the gimmicks, which is obviously where you come into play, but like the gimmicks are just like that's the nation domination. I always thought that was awful.
Yeah, awful. I agree with you, bro. Agree. Rocky Maivia was awful.
Speaking of Rocky Maivia, he defeats Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the next match to defend his Intercontinental Championship. Match goes 12 minutes 30 seconds. Again, die, Rocky, die. I mean, like they're really force feeding him and pushing him. He's got the weird blue tights. He's got the weird hair. He's doing the the weird like
Bro,
movements.
they do that same shit today. So many people are miscasted, trying to make Becky Lynch a heel, trying to make Bailey a heel. Bro, you got to go with it. You just got to organically go with it. Becky Lynch is a baby face. Bailey with the hair and the blow up gimmick. Bailey is a baby face. They miscast so many people, bro. And quite frankly, I don't know. I don't know how it happens. I have no idea.
Even Triple H, who's in NXT, he had Johnny Gargano be a heel. So miscast. He is the typical babyface fighting from
Right.
underneath, like that. And he's pretty good at like acting and facials. I mean, he's good with that stuff. So total babyface. I don't know why that they try to do that.
I
That's
have
like almost
no
like,
idea.
oh, Ricky Steamboat, let's turn you into like this
Yeah.
vicious heel. Doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. He's the babyface.
I have no idea. They do that to this day, bro. To this day.
It's weird. It's almost like let's waste some time with this guy and not make money off of him. Like Bailey, for instance, I know they think it's funny the ding dong hello or whatever the heck stuff. She is such a baby face. She
I
should be a
know,
baby
bro.
face.
What about trying to make Dewdrop a baby face when she out of the gate a heel? A woman that size that can work the way she does because Vince saw her dancing in the back. Are you going to go out there now and dance? This is the creator of the Attitude Era, bro. Give me a freaking break, man. It's like, it's not that hard, bro. It's really, really not that hard.
Man, then at this point, 97, they were trying to force feed Rocky. It's just like, man, it's not working.
Yep.
It's just not working. But they just keep trying anyways. They did it for Roman Reigns forever. Guy's a heel
Yep.
and an awesome heel.
Yep. I agree, bro. I agree.
So the next match, actually a really good match, but it's Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon defeating Owen and British Bulldog by disqualification. So Owen and Bulldog retain their tag team championship. The match goes 10 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm a mark for these guys. I love Doug Furnas and Philip LaFon. I thought they were great, and I love Owen and the Bulldog. So to me, the match is great. There's just I don't know. There's nothing to it. Like Clarence Mason is the manager of Owen and Bulldog. Like what? I don't know. It's like
I'm with
I
you,
don't
bro.
know.
And again, I think they're booking this match because Furnas and LaFon were from Canada. I'm sure these guys worked
Very
together a
familiar. Yeah.
million times. That's why they're booking this match. This is going to be a good match that could eat up some time. But yeah, bro, again, it's like, yeah, why is Clarence Mason in there with those guys? I don't know, bro.
Some of that's like ideas. It's just wacky. So when you're there at this point, you're just writing. You're basically a producer, right? And writing some of
So
the stuff.
basically, how it started with me was I'll tell you basically how it started. The very first thing I did, and I was kind of under Blackjack Lanza because Blackjack Lanza was producing all the stuff in the back. But at that time, it was very straightforward. So the first thing they had me do, bro, was I wrote all the house show promos. And I sat there with the talent and produced all the house show promos. So, like, Owen would go there and he would cut like 12 straight promos, and I had to write all of them differently. This is Owen Hart. I'm going to be in Madison Square Garden. I'm coming for you, blah, blah, blah. So I would have to write 12 different promos for Owen and produce them. Then 12 different promos for Bulldog. Then Brett. Literally hundreds of promos I would have to write before TV. So I did all that first. Then my next step was certain characters. Zero in on Goldust. Vince, this is my vision of Goldust. I want you to write for him. So that was the next step, bro. Writing for certain characters, creating the dialogue. Then the next step was taking those characters now and being a little bit more involved in the story. That was like the next step. So Vince was really, really, really weaning me along, bro. And that's what a lot of people they don't understand. They think one day I became, head writer of Raw. No, bro. I had to go through this process where I was building up to it.
Interesting that, you know what I mean, like, they know that they're not doing great, you know what I mean? So, like, you're slowly but surely climbing the ladder there.
Yeah. But it's the politics, bro. It's the politics. That's why they're gonna keep their thumb on Vince Russo, the Pritchards and the Cornettes. They're gonna keep their thumb on Vince Russo. That's why when I tell you, bro, you know, consulting and working for a wrestling company are two different things. I could never in my life, bro, and I don't care what you pay me. I swear to you, bro, if I got paid $1 million to go work full time for AEW or full time for the WWE, I would not take the job because I know at 61 years old, I cannot deal with that environment and the politics and the travel and everything that goes with it. I've said this before, bro. If I ever did that, I swear to you, bro, they'd find me dead in a hotel room. There's no question in my mind at my age, I could never take the stress and the bullshit that's involved in working in the WrestleMania. You just saw what happened with AEW this weekend.
Yeah.
You think at my age I want to work in a environment like that? It's no, bro. I don't. I don't know. I don't know how Bruce is doing it. Bruce has had heart attacks.
Yeah, 2
Bruce
heart
has.
attacks.
I have no idea, bro, how he's doing it, man. I have no. I know he loves Vince. I know he loves wrestling. I know he loves the WWE, but I don't know how he's doing it, man.
So the main event, Bret Hart defeats Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vader with Paul Bearer, and The Undertaker in a four corners elimination match for the vacant WWF World Heavyweight Championship in about 24 minutes. Austin gets eliminated first, then Vader, then Undertaker via clothesline over the top rope, and Bret Hart with a little bit of help from Austin there, but that's how Bret Hart wins his fourth WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Interesting though, the over the top rope. It almost seems like that was to kind of, I
Yeah.
don't know, make the guys look good so they don't take the loss before WrestleMania, like that kind of thing.
I agree with you absolutely, and I think coming off the heels of what was going on with Shawn, I think they really wanted the most dependable guy, and that, without a question, without a shadow of a doubt, was Bret Hart at the time, no doubt about it.
And probably the top guy that, you're not going to lose much if he wins, let's say, if Shawn Michaels.
Right.
Not that you guys were doing that great anyway, but you're not going to lose that much. He's obviously over as
Yeah,
well.
I think in Vince's mind, Taker wasn't ready. They weren't going to put it. Nobody took Vader seriously in that company, and Undertaker didn't need it.
So as far as that, we go to WrestleMania. Just looking ahead, Austin versus Brett, because Brett will lose the title in between to Sid thanks to Austin's cheating, and it's Undertaker versus Sid for the title, and Vader's not even in the title picture. Him and Mankind end up in a tag match with Bulldog and Owen. So it's almost like Vader got a little bit close to the sun, got a little close to the title, and then they pushed him right back down. Somehow Undertaker and Sid are right back in the title hunt, and Brett versus Austin, which ended up being one of the greatest matches in the history of WrestleMania. So it's almost like, I don't know, it was weird. It's like Michaels loses his smile, and then a bunch of title change happens, and it's like everything changes. Everything got flipped.
Yeah, bro. See, that's the thing, man. Yeah, I talk about this all the time, John, and you can see it today, man. That's the difference between bookers and writers. Okay, with a booker, the match comes first. Like, what's a good matchup? What wrestling match are the fans going to want to see? That's how Tony Khan books. And that's how Hunter books a lot. With the writer, it's the reverse. It's the story first. What two characters, when you put them together, will have a compelling story that will, progress into the match? That's the difference between booking and writing, bro. And at this point, they're booking. Put Taker with Sid, put this one with that one, put that one with this one. When you write the show, it's something completely different.
So Brett obviously will go on and fight Austin, like I said, in Sid versus Undertaker, and Michaels will be there, and he'll do the flip off the rope, and he'll do some commentary. So I mean, it was almost like he's really poking the bear. Like that's like the real start of the Brett Michael stuff. But I mean, he really is poking the bear there. And this was the start of it, because it's like you couldn't lose the title really, but you're flipping off the top rope and you're showing us your.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, bro, Shawn could get under people's skin. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I just wonder if he just regrets, because the WrestleMania could be. I know they weren't doing great at this point, but the WrestleMania payday,
Oh yeah,
all
no,
the stuff goes into it. Got to regret
yeah,
that.
you know what, bro? I don't think Shawn regrets it for the money, because I think he made plenty of money and is still making plenty of money. But I think he regrets it, how it just affected other people, how his actions really affected other people. I think that's what he regrets more than anything else.
What do you think, just overall, as we quickly went through that show? Like, what did you think of it? Like, it just doesn't sound, primo stuff here. That's why WWE's killing you.
Yeah, they lost their way. I mean, bro, they just lost their way. I mean, this is the period that we're going through at this time. They lost their way. They lost their identity. They lost their confidence. This is, man, you're really looking at some of the rock bottom times. Before obviously there was the massive turnaround.
All right, so let's hit the plugs. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com, patreon.com/tmptempire as well. Vince, what do you got?
Yeah, guys, just go to russosbrand.com or channelattitude.com or patreon.com/Russo TWC. There's a lot of programming for everybody. It just depends what you like.
All right. Thank you, Vince, as always. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening. We'll see you right back here next time. See you then, folks.